What's up, guys? Welcome to Stuff with Steffi. Today's video is kind of hard for me to do. So I decided that for Valentine's Day, I wanted to do a video about my last relationship because it was so toxic that I feel like it's something that people need to hear about, and they need to understand that if they're in a similar situation, they should probably leave. And at first, it wasn't a bad relationship at first. I was happy, he was happy, but then I started spending nights at his house. And he didn't have a car. I was using my brother's car. And frick, I forgot to do my hair. And while I was spending time at his house, there was a day that I spent the night and woke up and he wanted me to drive out and go buy us pizza. At 7 in the morning, he wanted me to go get pizza. The pizza place he wanted me to get pizza from wasn't even open yet. And we had been dating for, I want to say, a month at that point. And he got so mad at me because I wouldn't go buy us pizza. He got mad, locked himself in his bedroom, and left me in the living room with his dog. And he gave me the silent treatment for 4 hours because I wouldn't get him pizza. Yeah, insane, right? And at one point, so when we started dating, he was a smoker. And I mean, I knew that, but he was supposed to try to quit again. And a little bit, well, not that long. And a couple months into our relationship, he lost his job. And I told him when he lost his job, I wouldn't be buying him cigarettes. As a matter of fact, a couple months later, it became illegal for me to buy him cigarettes, because I am not old enough to buy cigarettes now. Which is kind of funny. But he got mad that I wouldn't give him money to go buy cigarettes, and I wouldn't go buy him cigarettes. And it caused many fights, because he just wanted the nicotine and, you know, like, and at that point, he wouldn't argue in person. I feel like that's because he kind of knew he was wrong a bit, but he ended up sending, like, he was so mean. If his first Facebook hadn't been deleted, I would definitely be going back and looking at the messages, and just so we can know for a fact, like, just so I know that I'm not missing anything in this situation. But there were several times that he would get mad and he would angrily message me because I wouldn't buy him cigarettes, and then he would mute me on Facebook and temporarily block my cell phone number for several hours because I wouldn't buy them for him. And it actually ended up, eventually, I ended up caving, and I gave him money for tobacco and rolling papers because he already had stuff to roll cigarettes himself. So I caved and I gave him money for that. And it was always an argument because I didn't want to give him the money. I never wanted to give him the money for cigarettes. And eventually, we ended up getting in an argument over it, and I ended up letting him take some money to go buy some things at a gas station, and he proceeded to steal $20 from me to spend on cigarettes. And I mentioned it to a friend of mine because he never gave me, like, because I knew the money was missing. He was supposed to use the $20 to go pick up some things at the gas station for me. and he just kept it. He did pick up what I wanted him to pick up, but you know, he kept the rest of the money for cigarettes, which ended up being like 18 of the $20. And I know it's stupid, I shouldn't have let him use money, but it's in the past. And I mentioned it to a friend of mine because I had to work that night, and we were talking about it at work, and she made the comment, she was like, Steph, he just stole from you. That's exactly what he just did. And so I messaged him and I asked him about it, because I had asked him for the change, and he got really defensive and said I never asked him for the change. And it's ended up being this big fight with him claiming that I don't trust him, or that I didn't trust him because, you know, because he didn't give me the money back, and I never asked him for the money back, but I definitely did. And he had just ignored me when I did. And so it ended up being this huge fight, and he ended up threatening to dump me. But I don't remember how it got settled, but that ended up getting settled. I never got the money back, but the argument ended up getting settled. And things were okay for like a week or two. And then he went through the messages on my phone because he didn't trust me. He had another dream that I cheated on him. And every time he had a dream that I cheated on him, he would treat me like I actually did. He would get mad, be mad the entire day, if not the entire week, and he would pick arguments and claim that I was cheating on him for no reason whatsoever. But he got on my phone and he went through my messages with a friend of mine, and he read the messages and he took a bunch of screenshots of them and emailed them to himself as evidence against me, because a friend of mine had made a joke about his girlfriend. That's it. And my ex-boyfriend picked a big fight, yelled at me, claiming that I lied to him. Jesse, you little weirdo. Claiming that I lied to him, and that I was being sexually harassed by my friend because my friend made a joke. And he blocked my friend on my cell phone and told me I was never allowed to speak to him again. And this was almost where the relationship ended. Frankly, it's where the relationship should have ended a good 5 times already. But so I unblocked my friend as soon as I got my phone back, and I told my friend what happened. And my ex-boyfriend, he figured out that I unblocked my friend, and he lost it. And he told me I had to pick between him or my friend. And when I picked my friend over him, he ended up trying to bargain and say, okay, you can keep your friend, but I have to be able to read every message you two send. Jesse, can you chill? Sorry, if you hear random noises, there are 2 dogs in the room. One's being quiet, the other one not so much. Anyways, so he ended up trying to bargain and stuff. And the next morning he ended up taking my phone out of my hand because I was texting the friend, and got mad because the friend called him childish and I didn't argue it. Like, he at that point, I think he was still 25. But, you know, a grown man was doing this. A guy that is 6 years older than me was doing this. And he ended up getting mad again, saying that's it, he's gonna leave. And he texted his mom, and she called him, and she told him he's an idiot and to apologize. And, like, he broke down and, like, begged me to forgive him and stuff. The relationship continued. And then eventually we decided to move in together. Because I work due to the pandemic, and so we did to move in together, and we moved in to the apartment we had together towards the end of August. But before that, we lived in a hotel for 3 weeks, starting on the last day of July. And while we were there, he picked several fights because I would wear a mask, and he felt like me wearing a mask during a pandemic was trying to force him to wear a mask during a pandemic, and that it was a violation of his rights. Dumb, right? You know, guys, mask up. Pandemic, serious crap. It's not a violation of your rights for the very mandate. They can make it mandatory for you to wear every other article of clothing on your body. They can make it mandatory for you to wear a mask. That's just how it is. But, so he started picking fights over that, and we were very rapidly approaching the election. And we are on very different sides of the political spectrum. And by that I mean he's an extremist, and I'm a moderate leaning the other direction. Which is fun. And he's so much of an extremist that after the election, I found him watching videos, because he had a desktop set up in our bedroom, and I found him watching videos about how they should rise up and violently protest the results of the election to try to get it overturned. Like, several of the videos that I walked in the bedroom to talk to him and he was watching were all calling for violence, and honestly I was terrified. And that was only in November. But leading up to November, he started picking fights more and more frequently. He was telling me that I'm young and naive, and that's why I don't believe the same thing as him. And he even, at one point, he told me during one of the arguments that, sorry, I'm starting to tear up a little. During one of the arguments, he even told me that, and this is so absurd to me, he told me that I was a bad person because my opinions are, to make my opinions, I think about other people. Before I do something, I tend to think about other people first. And he tried to tell me that I'm a bad person because my opinions aren't solely based on me. They're based on what's better for everyone. Or what I believe to be better for everyone. And that one was absurd to me. But he started picking fights more and more, especially after the election and the results of the election came out, which he thinks are completely fraudulent. Which I think is insane. And he even got mad at me for voting by mail, because he thinks it's completely unsafe, despite the fact that it's been proven to be a pretty, safe way to vote, honestly. And if I'm being completely honest, I kind of only really voted by mail. I voted by mail partially to get onto him, partially because there was all this crap going around about how it's unsafe. It's like, if I find something that says I voted for the other guy, then yeah, it's been tampered with, but so far nothing has said I voted for the other guy. And so he kept picking fights. Most of them were political, And he didn't even know what any of my beliefs were, because we sat down and I had him guess my beliefs on moral issues after he told me that I am morally corrupt. And he would constantly say that I'm young and naive and I don't know what's good for me or anybody else. And he ended up, like, just, it was a bad situation. And towards the end of November, he ended up deciding he wanted to replace the dishes. So he asked me if he could toss my dishes out, and I told him no. Mainly, I didn't tell him this, but my main reason was because he's constantly suggesting we break up. And if we broke up, I didn't want to leave with no dishes. I didn't want to have to get more, you know? That, and I also really liked my dishes. I had these plates that no matter how long you put them in the microwave, the plate itself would never get too hot to pick up. If you know what kind of plates those are, please let me know, because I want more. Because he went and threw away all of my plates and all of my plastic cups and every single one of my forks, knives, and spoons that he could find. After I told him, he only asked about the plates and I told him no. So he took it upon himself to throw all of it away and then act like I was a psychopath for being upset that he threw them away. And it's the only time I've gone uninterrupted for more than 30 seconds was when I confronted him about it and I would not let him speak. Because I was ticked. It had been over a year of this crap. And he just threw away my property. And didn't see how that was a problem at all. But things kept going. And we came and we visited my family on Thanksgiving. And he threw a hissy fit because he would have to wear a mask to go visit my grandparents. And I'm kind of glad he didn't go down there because I guarantee he would have taken it off as soon as he entered the house, and that's not okay. And he got upset because my mom told him he would have to wear a mask. And he sat outside on the porch the entire time. And then as soon as I came back, he decided it was time to leave. I'm sorry, this is a bit, And I do plan on posting this completely unedited. But at the beginning of December, I decided it was time to leave at 2 in the morning. And I was home by 10. But guys, listen to the red flags. They're there. Sometimes they're very obvious. Don't ignore them. Anyways, that's all for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. I hope if you or someone you know is in a situation, you or they can get out. Trying so hard not to mess up my makeup. I was thinking about trying to record other videos, but now I don't know. Anyways, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. I hope you have a happy Valentine's Day. And I hope to see you guys back here again next week. Next week, I will be doing a video about... Well, for next week's video, I decided to pay 3 different psychics on Fiverr to draw my soulmate. And you guys get to see the results next week. So if you're interested in that, come back next week. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you want more videos of me telling stories. If you did like this video, check out this video that YouTube picked out just for you. Or check out this playlist of things that I've picked and put together. Anyways, I hope to see you guys back here. I hope to see you guys back here again next week. And